Hello and welcome to the Lou Review. I'm your host, Rosa Hart, and I'm here to talk about another event for you this summer. We are going to be talking about an event specifically to support mental health, and my guest is, I want to say that this is your brainchild. This is Reylene Robinson. And so, Reylene, can you tell us about your vision for this event and what it has grown into from that?
Yes, thank you, Rosa. First of all, thank you for having me. We really appreciate you being willing to have this conversation and get information out into the community. Like Rosa said, my name is Reylene Robinson. I'm the Chief Community Officer and Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Officer for 7 County Services. 7 Counties is our community mental health center. We serve 7 counties, Louisville and the 6 surrounding counties. And we provide mental health services for adults and children, addiction services, as well as services for individuals who have a disability.
And there is plenty of demand for these services. So what is this event that you have to talk about today?
Yes, I am here to talk about the Winners for Wellness event, which will be held on July 20th at the California Community Center.
And this is winners like you're going to win a game, not like winter
Right.
is coming.
Yes, a winner.
Yeah.
It's from 11 to 4, and this year we are very, very excited to have Angel McCautry as our keynote speaker.
Oh, wow.
And Angel is such just a presence in our community and is so passionate about mental health, and we're really excited to have her join us.
Yeah, so it's really interesting when you hear from people who you perceive as being like really strong, and then they open up and are vulnerable to talk about things that they've struggled with, which, you know, I always find is personally empowering, right? Because if you see this really strong person and find out that they've overcome a lot, then that's encouraging, because you're like, well, maybe I can overcome too, and they don't all start perfect, right?
Yeah, and that's really the point of the whole Winners for Wellness event. Our goal is to break down the stigma in BIPOC meaning Black, Indigenous, and people of color, in BIPOC communities, to just sort of make it common. It's okay to seek help. You know, it's okay to reach out to family members when you're having thoughts of harming yourself. It's okay to reach out to family when you are struggling with a substance use disorder, to your friends, to your coworkers. And so we really want it to be a community celebration of all of the amazing resources that our community has around behavioral health. Of course, 7 Counties is one of those providers, but we're going to have performances from Mighty Shades of Ebony, a group from La Casita is going to be performing. And so all of these community groups are coming together just to support one another, to support the community, and have some fun while we're doing it.
That's awesome. And it's going to be at the California Community Center?
Yes, the California Community Center on July 20th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Excellent. And that's on a Saturday, right?
That is on a Saturday, yeah.
Excellent. And so is this going to be set up like that there's a stage and people are going to watch a lot of performances, or is it kind of like you walk to different stations, or what's the setup?
It's going to be a little bit of both. It's probably good chance it's going to be pretty hot that day.
Yeah.
So there is an indoor component, and there
Okay.
is a stage, and we'll have some of the vendors there inside talking to people. I know our staff from 7 County Services in our prevention department are going to be there handing out Narcan.
Good.
And doing a training for that. So there will be that outside. There's going to be a teen area as well. People focusing on having conversations. We are going to have some of the athletes from U of L join us.
Oh, nice.
And help us facilitate those conversations. So we're really excited to have that area this year. That's a new area that we haven't had. And we know that, you know, our youth there's a lot going on right now with them.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that they have support and they feel the love from the community and have a connection to reach out to when they may not be feeling well or may need some resources.
Yeah, I know it was kind of eye-opening earlier. Was it this year that Elmo said something about, I'm just checking in, and there was this whole like outpouring of people expressing how not mentally well they were.
Yep.
And so I think, we see these characters we really connect with, and that makes us feel safe. So hopefully seeing some local sports leaders and figures will all resonate with people as well, but also help them connect with people like yourself who are doing the work every day to support people to get taken care of. So what are some of the things that you want to make sure people learn about at the event?
Yeah, so we have a lot of amazing partners who we're working with on this event. Louisville Public Media is a sponsor for the event. They have done a tremendous job helping us plan the event and making sure that we're getting all the logistical pieces right.
Wow, that is super helpful to have that.
It really is. So they've been an amazing partner. We also have the Urban League, La Casita, Talented Minds. Talented Minds is the group of former athletes who is going to facilitate the conversation with the teen in the teen area, with the U of L athletes, so they could have some good resources and some robust conversation about really what's going on with them. The Dove Delegates have been a tremendous partner to us.
Who is that?
Dove Delegates.
Dove Delegates?
Yes.
Like the bird?
Yes.
Okay.
All capital, though. Capital DOVE. But they're a group of advocates who work in this space who we have worked with for many years on lots of different projects, but they are helping us with this event, helping us get the word out. I don't know if I mentioned, but the event is free and open to everybody in the community.
Well, that's important.
Yeah.
Yes.
There will be food and there'll be music, so it'll be very festive.
Yeah. So what if somebody knows they need mental help and they're not too proud to ask for it, but they don't know that they can afford it? So what do you say to somebody like that?
Yeah. So there's a couple different resources. Before I go to that, I also want to mention that's okay. Our fabulous partners at Play Cousins Collective and at Metro United Way.
Okay.
So what to do if somebody is struggling? 7 County Services does operate the Suicide and Crisis Hotline for this region. That number is 988. Just probably a year and a half ago or so, we were able to get a 3-digit number similar to 911.
I didn't know that even existed, and I like to be a resource with all the phone numbers as a nurse, so that's very helpful. So 988?
988. And we have staff working the phones 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it's a really amazing system that if you are having thoughts of harming yourself, if you are struggling, or if a family member is struggling, you can reach out to them. They're always available to take your call. They will get you connected with resources that fit whatever circumstances you might have. So if 7 counties isn't the right place for you, they will certainly give you a referral to go to other places.
Okay. Because some places you need a referral in order for the insurance you have to cover it, right? And so if they don't have a primary care provider or something like that, that can be a barrier for people. So these crisis centers can provide that referral for that.
They can give you all the information. Sometimes a referral has to come from your primary care. There's so many different nuances with insurance.
Yeah. Okay, that's good to know.
But 7 counties does serve individuals regardless of their pay source or inability to pay.
Oh, good.
So our services are always an option for individuals who are struggling and who may need to get some help.
Yeah, without being able to pay for a big price tag to go with it, right?
Yes.
That's awesome that there is this option in the community. So
yes.
Yeah.
And 7 County Services is a tremendous community partner with a lot of folks, but also just ourselves. We serve over 30,000 individuals every year. Wow. There's 30,000 of our neighbors, 30,000 of our family and our friends and those we love. And we've been around for over 40 years. So, there's
well,
lots
obviously
of,
not you, because
right.
that would be before you're born, right? So,
yes, that's what we're going with.
So how long have you been with Seven Counties, Reylene?
So I've been with some iteration of the organization for over 9 years.
Okay.
I started with another organization that came alongside of Seven Counties, and has stuck with the Seven County side on my end. It's just really meaningful work, and I find a great deal of joy helping the staff who are helping the community. Yeah. So I'm not a service provider.
As far as giving counseling to others?
Right. That's not my thing.
Okay, what's your thing?
But I can help with marketing and fundraising and public relations and events and all those things that do help our staff either on the fundraising side or the community engagement side to get what they need.
Yeah.
So I see that as my calling, my passion, that, I tried to go down that field of being a school teacher and it just wasn't for me, but I can do these other things to still help the community.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so you started developing this idea for the Winners for Wellness event like 5 years ago, before it became popular to support equity and diversity and inclusion efforts.
Yeah.
So what was that like for you, getting this event off the ground starting in like 2019?
Yeah. So we got started with it. And then COVID happened not too far after we started planning it. So we had to cancel it. I think we canceled it twice.
The first time.
Yeah, yes. And then the third time we had it all virtual.
Okay.
But, the staff and the leadership at Seven Counties has such tremendous care and foresight for the community. And so, I sometimes, it's part of my job. I get these things in my head and I'm like, well, could we do that? And, I took it to our CEO then, who was Abby, and she said, let's do it. And that's a really special place to work at, right?
Yeah.
It's really amazing that the agency cares that deeply about our constituents, about our staff, to just say, yeah, let's do it. Let's see what happens from it. Maybe we could do some good work in the community. So that's one of the parts about this organization that for me is so impressive. Just trying to do the right thing in the community. We might not get it right every time, but let's just try to do the best we can with it. So,
right. And that's all you can do. So much of the time, perfectionism is the enemy of doing something good, because if you just wait until something is perfect, literally nothing is going to happen.
Right. And nothing is perfect, right?
Exactly.
It's not ever going to be perfect. We postponed it 2 years, and then we had to make a decision to go and do it virtually. And we had 300 people show up virtually on a Saturday, and that is amazing.
It really is.
Yeah.
They could have been doing anything else.
Yep.
They could have been watching Netflix on their phones, but they were attending your event to learn how they could get some help.
Yeah.
So that's all. And be inspired. Yeah. Right? So who was the first athlete that you had? Was it somebody named Eddie?
Eddie George.
Eddie George, yes. I think
we literally talked about this, and I'm like, what is his name?
Yeah.
So NFL football player Eddie George, he's now a coach. And it was really powerful to hear about his journey with mental health, which started at a very young age. And then the next time we did it, we had T. Higgins from the Bengals who came down and talked. And that was just an emotional story. T was just, when he talked about his mother and her story, it was just so incredibly passionate. I don't think there was a dry eye in the room. It was just really powerful. And then now this is the second year that Angel is coming back to join us. Yes,
wow.
Angel was there last year with us, and wanted to come back and do it again. And of course, we were so happy to have her.
Yeah. That's awesome when you find somebody's like passion and they get to like really lean into it.
Yeah.
To just ride the wave.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what else would you like to make sure we know about Winners for Wellness?
Yeah, there's so many things that happen to everybody in our day-to-day life. And, focusing on trauma response, becoming trauma resilient is something that 7 counties works really hard to help people with. Whether it's through the community trainings that we do, whether it's through the direct services we provide. We have a number of coalitions in our rural counties and for children that go out and support parents every single day, because parenting is tough, right? And it seems to, as I get older, it seems like parenting gets tougher and tougher, right, for the little ones. And so really just wrapping our arms around that community and supporting them the best that they can is something that we do every day, want to do more of it. And so, that's why this event was so important for us to engage with other community partners. There are going to be a number of groups there who will have booths, who provide mental health counseling, Bridgehaven, Wellspring, lots of different groups that some counties might not be the fit for you, right?
Everybody's different.
Yeah, and this is not necessarily about 7 counties. We wanted to convene the community and do what is best for the community, and knowing that there are some amazing behavioral health providers in our community. People doing really good work. Give them an opportunity to showcase what they do and reach out to the community as well.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that there's ever been more providers of mental health support than there are people who need it. Right. If anything, it's the opposite.
And even now, we talked a little bit about COVID, right? That was one of the things that, COVID did a lot, right? It brought a lot of things to light. But the isolation that was brought on through COVID was something we never seen before, something that we as a community were not prepared for. My family wasn't prepared for it, right? And it was really tough on folks. And so if you add on top of that some complications with behavioral health issues, somebody who's struggling with substance use disorder or addiction, that becomes a lot. It was really difficult to navigate. We heard at one point in time during the pandemic that we were seeing a lot of overdoses of individuals who might have otherwise been with somebody, right?
But they were isolated.
And there was nobody there to give them Narcan, right? So, these things, and I speak for a lot of our providers in our community, it turned the behavioral health world upside down.
Oh, wow.
And I'm very thankful that there have been so many discussions in our community at the state level, at the national level, about behavioral health services that has really... It's been educational for people. It's brought a lot of different resources up. And so, unfortunately, I don't know that we're ever going to, solve it. That would be great if we would go out of business and we didn't have anybody living with behavioral health issues. But,
we're so far away from that. That's just not even a concern. Right now, you've got good job security, wouldn't you say? Yeah.
But, imagine that world,
that
right?
Would be beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm really working on pressing toward that world. I think you hit the nail on the head, talking about the isolation that a lot of people feel, and maybe they had Band-Aids covering up a sense of loneliness that was taken away when their, enforced ways they saw people was taken away in COVID isolation. And so I've really had an emphasis in building community and seeing people in person, which is one reason we're doing this interview in person, for example, because there's just something about making eye contact with another person and being present with another person and feeling seen and feeling heard, that can just benefit our hearts so much. And a screen on a Zoom call just doesn't do the same thing.
That's right. And, when that camera goes off, the whole world could be crumbling around you, right? But if you put on a brave face for that 30 minutes or 45 minutes and appear to be okay, everything just goes right back to where it was when you were not on the Zoom call. I hope that that's a valuable lesson that our community will keep with us as we resume whatever normalcy it is, right?
So I really appreciate you creating this space to meet other real people, human people, to connect in person, and that way if they're going to call somebody for help, they'll have a face to put with that phone number, where 988 isn't just some, ethereal idea out there that might be scary because they don't know those people, but maybe they'll picture the faces of the people they met at this event, right?
Yep.
So I love that you're putting some real humanity into it.
Thank you. We are very excited about the event, and we hope that everybody will come out and join us and have a good time, get something to eat, and
there'll be giveaways too, right?
There will be, of course, there will be giveaways.
Anything you want to brag about, or
we have some really cool temporary tattoos that we had made up.
Oh, okay.
They might look like a brain or something like that, but I'm not going to spoil it. But they're super cute.
You're baiting me with that. I love brains. Goodness, that's awesome.
But yeah, and of course there'll be food and beverages.
Is it food trucks, or are you gonna have? Do you know what the food is going to be?
I do not know what the food is going to be.
Those wonderful event planners will make sure there's food there.
Knowing my team and the team at Louisville Public Media, it will not disappoint.
Right? Awesome. But, it wouldn't be the Lou Review podcast if I didn't try to put a plug in there for food. So, all right. Well, thank you, Reylene, so much for coming out to share this. Is there anything else you want to share that I didn't get to ask you about?
No, just thank you very much. I really, really do appreciate it. And
and where can they follow you? Should they follow social media for 7 counties, or is there a specific social media page for the event?
Yes, we can be found at 7 County Services on all social media platforms.
Okay, fantastic. So follow 7 Counties Media.
Yep.
And
7 County Services. Sorry.
I'm so sorry. 7 County Services, and also Rosa Raves on social media.
Of course.
And then follow the Lou Review podcast to stay in the loop with more neat events that are coming up in Louisville. Hear interviews with other nonprofit leaders and business owners about how they're bringing their visions to life to make Louisville, Kentucky such a wonderful place to be. And I'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you.